Up at 6, he was hailed a hero for saving a woman during this violent incident. But tonight, a former Hampton police officer faces some serious charges. And that is our top story on this Thursday night. Good evening. I'm Regina Mobley.
And I'm David Allen. Police caught up with D'Angelo Freeman in Idaho. The 30-year-old now faces several charges related to distributing drugs and witness tampering. All of the charges could mean the former hero cop could spend years behind bars. 13 News Now reporter Nico Clemens spent the day talking to those who knew him.
He picks up the story from here.
Yeah, it makes you think.
A former Hampton police officer arrested thousands of miles away. Federal investigators say D'Angelo Freeman was part of a large-scale drug trafficking operation in Hampton Roads. The former officer is accused of plotting with 6 people to distribute drugs in the area. Investigators say Freeman also told his co-conspirators the name of an FBI confidential informant.
Makes you sort of question who's working here.
Police and investigators arrested Freeman in Idaho. We went to the former officer's home in Hampton. I spoke to a few people who said Freeman told them he had a family emergency, then disappeared. Matt Trzynski lives in the apartment building next door.
Makes you sort of question the type of people that's supposed to be protecting us.
Freeman started as a patrolman with the Hampton Police Division in 2010. A spokesman for the division said Freeman separated from city employment last November. Hampton Police also released a statement that says in part, HPD works in partnership with the FBI and has a detective assigned to the Safe Streets Task Force. This partnership allows for immediate and consistent collaborative investigations involving the Hampton Police Division and the FBI.
Who we're paying our taxes to.
Investigators say Freeman and the other people charged with distributing narcotics worked together for several years. They were indicted in November. The same month, Freeman left his job with the police division. Court documents say the group was involved in the trafficking of cocaine, heroin, and guns for cash. And Freeman faces a mandatory minimum of 10 years in prison and a maximum of life in prison if convicted. In Hampton, I'm Nico Clemens, 13 News Now.
It was a bittersweet return today for one local Navy Super Hornet squadron. VFA 213 came home to Oceana, but without 2 of its aviators. Their loss recognized by Congressman Scott Taylor on Capitol Hill.
And I now request the House observe a moment of silence in honor of Lieutenant Commander Johnson and Lieutenant King.
Members and guests in the gallery, please rise for a moment of silence.
The pilot, Lieutenant Commander James Johnson, and the Weapons Systems Officer, Lieutenant Caleb King, died last week. Their fighter jet went down during a training exercise in Key West. 13
News Now military reporter Mike Gooding was at Oceana for the squadron's subdued fly-in.
Homecomings are usually a pretty happy occasion. This one, most understandably, was not. The Black Lions returned from training exercises in Key West, Florida, minus 2 members killed in a crash 8 days ago. Mourning loved ones were there to greet the returning aviators. The Navy asked that we not photograph that. Afterwards, VFA 213's commanding officer came back out before the cameras and spoke about Lieutenant Commander Johnson and Lieutenant King.
Our entire command mourns the loss of these 2 patriots. A feeling we know we share with our brothers and sisters in the profession of arms, our community here in Virginia Beach, and in homes and families all across our great nation. But we will heal, together as a team and as a community.
Commander Robb didn't take any questions from the media, but said answers about the mishap will come in due time.
I understand the desire for all of us to know what happened in this terrible tragedy. I ask for your trust and patience as there is an active aviation mishap investigation being conducted by some of the finest professionals in the entire world.
Typically, a Class A mishap investigation of this nature can take up to 4 to 6 months to complete. So it may be that long before the Navy and the country have answers on what happened. In Virginia Beach, Mike Gooding, 13 News Now.
New at 6, a car slams into a Virginia Beach shop. Virginia Beach EMS shared this photo with us. They tell us this happened just after 1 at the Great Clips in Thalia Collins Square. 2 people had to be taken to the hospital. Both are expected to be okay. No word yet on what caused the driver to crash into the building. Also new at 6, a warning over thefts in Norfolk. Police say your car is being targeted. 168 have been stolen since the start of the year. Police say most of them were either left running or had keys left inside. They say you can help put a stop to the rising numbers by never leaving your car running unattended.
Norfolk police identify the man shot and killed Wednesday morning. William James White Jr. died outside of his home. It happened around 9:30 on C Avenue. That's in Huntersville. Police say his killer is still out there. A young life cut short. Now, Norfolk Public Schools is helping students through an impossibly tough time.
Damon Person, a Booker T. Washington student, was shot and killed Monday. His death is the 5th for the school division since January. 13 News Now reporter Megan Perrier is here with how they are responding.
David, Regina, school officials say students and staff may be experiencing a wide range of emotions following the latest death. Today, they put out a statement saying support is in place to help. I spoke to a clinical psychologist about how to handle grief.
Some people may start with the sadness. Eventually, the end stage usually is acceptance.
Norfolk Public Schools has lost 5 students and faculty members over the course of just 3 months. Clinical psychologist Dr. Janelle Mason says everyone goes through the stages of grief differently.
You don't go through them in a linear fashion. Anger is a piece of it. Some people, for example, with the shootings, that might be where they start.
In a case of mistaken identity, Oceana Elementary School teacher Caroline Hendricks was shot on New Year's Eve. Mason says there's steps to take if a child loses a teacher.
To be comforting, to let the child express themselves and talk about it. And then maybe ask questions or reassure the child.
In February, PB Young Elementary School student Skylar Alexander drowned at the ocean front, and losing a peer can call for a different healing process.
The child may feel differently about it because it is a peer. They may take it more personally. Maybe it could happen to me, and be more fearful in that way.
One day after Skylar died, Assistant Principal LaDawn Durant of Norview Middle School was killed in a car accident.
The grieving process is different for adults just like it is for children, and they might need to find someone to talk to.
2 days after Durant's death, Keyshawn Alexander, a Lake Taylor High School student, was shot and killed.
And when you have these tragic events happen in such a short period of time, so close to you, that's adding to the weight that you already have on you. So you can imagine a person might become even more sad.
Now, Dr. Mason says if and when you're ready, it's always good to seek help. In studio, Megan Perrier, 13 News Now.